Greetings, Dreamweaver world. I hope everybody's doing alright this evening. I tell you, today it was tough. I even rode my bicycle so fast that I beat the bus to this location that I was going to. It was a few miles too. But you know, it's good. I got some things settled. I was able to get some warm clothes for when I sleep at night. Tomorrow I'll be able to get some clothes to actually change into because I've been wearing the same clothes for I didn't even count because what's the use of counting? But who knows? Maybe it'll all get stolen again once I find a place to stash it. Maybe I'll finally find a place to live. I don't know. Trying to get people to understand that I need to get paid for what I do. Till then, I subsist. No matter how that is, within righteousness, of course, within the Dreamweaver way. But it's like everything else, whatever it takes. This is the most important thing. This is my life's work. It's the mission. It's another awesome lesson today, wasn't it? And I know a lot of you people probably don't agree with me. And it's your right to not agree. But the persecution is illegal, and it's not right. So this should not give you another reason to think that the persecution should continue. In fact, you should start realizing now that I do have answers that can make this world a better place. Now, I don't want to have to take away the secular government, but I'll do it. And there's a lot of other things that I want to do. There's a lot of other things that I'm going to do that I don't want to do. So anyway, I'm tired. One of the dreamscapes last night. I can't stand my family. They're pretty much dead to me. And just like the friends who betrayed me, so-called friends, and sure enough, they showed up in a dreamscape. And my stepdad's like, "Well, you got to tire out eventually," and I'm like, "So that's what this is all about? Y'all are trying to get me to tire out?" And I'm like, even if I did get tired, even if I had to sit in one place for days and days, I still wouldn't give up. You're not going to tire me out. If we have to ride this out to the very end, and remember, my days are infinite. Your days are numbered. I'm going to win. I don't play your stupid game. I have all the answers. You people don't have the answers. I have the way to make the world a better place. You people don't have the way to make the world a better place. And like I've said before, you have had thousands of years to get this done, and you haven't been able to do it. I've worked on this for 10 years. 15 years if you include around 1999, 2000 is when I really made the turnaround. Anyway, what I posted today, all the information was very clearly stated. And I don't really need to go over any of it. I don't really need to expand any of it, except that I'm going to talk a little bit about a few of the things. Alright? So the lesson shouldn't take too much of your time. In fact, I would encourage you to reread some of this stuff. Alright? I really want us to get to a point where there's some kind of forum. Some kind of way for people to ask questions, because I've got all the answers. It's not like I'm just making this stuff up. I've got reason for it. And as far as the substances, you're seeing articles all the time now about the same stuff that I've been prophesying. So it's not like I'm just saying, hey, everybody needs to get high. No, there are medicinal purposes for this stuff. Alright? And shamanism, it's been around since the beginning of time. So you people need to open your minds, open your hearts, open your souls before something happens that's so cataclysmic that it would take a while to rebuild, and eventually y'all are going to understand that you should listen to me anyway. So why not just circumvent all that? Listen to me now. So, like I said, this is the most important thing of all creation. And I've explained to you, I've created this government that could rule all intelligent life forms in the universe. Every planet. It's universal. And so when you think about time not really existing, I really do rule the entire universe. It's just a matter of time. And I know that it sounds very far-fetched, but when you think about it, it's all coherent and it's all very possible. Like I said, it's just a matter of time. So let's begin with the Jesus quote, because that's a good transition into it. He talks about how in the New Age that there... now don't get confused when I say the New Age with the New Age mumbo jumbo. It's not the same thing. Alright. Okay, so he talks about how in the next life, we'll say, which the world is going through that transition right now, marriage won't be what it's considered right now. If you think about it, the institution of marriage isn't really respected. And it's not just because homosexuals can get married now. And don't get me wrong, don't look at me like I'm some kind of hater or something. That's their right. Ethically, they have a right to get married. But it's really not a legitimate marriage. And then, of course, there are people who don't really respect their marriages. And it's going to be a whole different kind of dynamic in the next life, or in the next world, we should say, the new world. People are actually going to be together forever. I mean, really, in the mundane. We're going to build spaceships, travel the cosmos, or people who live here are going to live, for the rest of their lives. Like I said, our consciousness are going to be transferred into these machines. We're going to live forever. We really are. Of course, people who want to be married can stay married. It's not like I'm making people not be married. But it's going to be a reorganization of those relationships. So it shouldn't be looked at like I am breaking up families. Because when you think about it, it's different with me. Because I really do teach everyone. So if it's a matter of women wanting to be part of the harem, or if it's a matter of the one I choose to be the queen, it's whatever I choose, because everything I do is wise. And people can question all they want, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to do what I do, and there isn't anybody who's going to stop me, because you people, if you're trying to stop me, then you don't understand. You don't understand the relevance, you don't understand the importance of it. But know this, that there might be a lot of men out there who are mad at me about this. But like I said, yeah, you should have been studying this stuff while I was. Now I'm so far ahead of you, none of y'all are ever going to catch up. So it's your own fault. Should have been studying. Should have learned wisdom. There's really no other way to say it. Alright, so again, I encourage you to read this stuff so you can get a better understanding of it. The second part of that Jesus quote talks about how basically it talks about the reincarnative process. All right? We will all be around in the new age, in the next world, through this reincarnative process. Spiritual transfer. All right? That's how reincarnation happens. Okay? Our souls are unique, but it's really just part of the spirit. Right? So understand that. When Solomon was alive, he was wise. And he was able to explain all kinds of things to people and people didn't understand. And so as I explain these mysteries to you, you need to, like I said, open your mind, open your heart to it, and really try to get tapped in to what I'm trying to say. All right. I've told you before that doubt, it's like a poison. And if you start doubting me, it will corrupt you. If you're not a Dreamweaver believer, I don't really care what you do. I don't care if you believe me or not. I expect you to act legally. I expect you to do the right thing. But if you're not going to believe in who I am, I'm not really worried about your opinion. Likewise, if there is somebody who isn't a Dreamweaver believer and they think I'm awesome, I'm not really worried about their opinion. I don't really care what anybody thinks, but I think you understand what I'm saying. If you're not part of the order, I'm not really worried about what you think. Okay, I'm not even willing to listen to it, whether praise or blame. So anyway, the new world, everybody will be present because it's all those transferred spirits. Okay, and so the Judgment Day will involve all of those lineages up into that point. Okay, so the next thing I wrote was from a communication from the Spirit. And I wrote that, a lot of people think that the problems that I'm going through right now are new to me, but they're not. Because as soon as I got back from Reno to start this cult, even the locals from where I was living in Louisville, Texas, even they started saying the same thing that people are saying now. And so it's not anything new to me. So the stuff that I wrote back then is still relevant. And you people need to stop thinking that I'm going to change my mind about this. I have been preaching the same thing for 4 years now, and before that I was doing my thing. And I was getting the shamanism going since 2004, and it's something that I've been working on. Like I said, it's my life's work. So this stuff isn't new to me. I'm not going to just change my mind. Okay? I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing. And like I said, you people are wasting time to think so. So as I've explained before, the spirit is genderless until you understand how the spirit is the higher self. Like, the spirit is my higher self, and to me, you could look to me as your higher self. Alright, but you need to understand that there really is no duality between you and your higher self. Once you get tapped into my spirit, you understand how that's possible. Okay? But if somebody who doesn't believe, you're not going to understand it. You're not going to get it because the spirit won't let you comprehend it. To you, it probably won't seem like it makes much sense at all. That's why you got to believe. You got to have faith. All right. So this Buddha nature, it gives me this invincibility, and you're not going to be able to refute me. I'm totally tapped in, and it really is like I'm in a different dimension. Okay, I'm not related to anything that y'all are doing. It's like, I'm not human. I am alien compared to what you were doing. So when you people keep trying to do all these things through worldly ways, you're not going to be able to affect me, because the spirit isn't contingent on materialism. You understand? The only way that there's any kind of connect is through the truth. And that's how I always win, because I'm always aligned with the truth. And that's why people can't stand up to me. Are you starting to understand the connection? This isn't something that I need to convince you of. Remember, I'm not here to convince you. I'm not here to persuade you. I'm not here for your approval. Everything I do proves what I'm saying. Everything I do proves that my way is correct. I mean, there is stuff that is not even around what I do, but my spirit still affects, and you still see the effects. You understand? So don't think that there is anything other than what I preach. So don't get that twisted. The spirit affects, so you see the effects. So I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea about me pronouncing that. I was just saying that because you got to understand the pronunciation. I don't want anybody to get the wrong idea. Alright. So the genealogy of Jesus, it shows through Mary. Right? And it shows through the life of Joseph. Right? And we all know that Jesus was born of the Spirit. So it really has nothing to do with the bloodline. There is a bloodline that goes through Mary. But at the same time, they tried to run it through Joseph, but there is no connect right there. So understand that. Okay, so the Spirit is always available, and if you think that you're going to be able to tire me out, that is never going to happen, because it's an endless source of energy. All right, it's a spiritual energy that you can't stop. All right. I'm sure a lot of you people thought I was going to die today. You thought I was going to be so tired that I was going to give up. And what did you see me do? Active the whole day. Anytime I needed to have a discussion, I was on point. So you see, there isn't anything you can do to stop this. Whether individually or societally, there is only one way to do this. I'm the hope and I'm the warning. All right? You don't have an excuse for this, folks. You can try to find loopholes. You can try to find ways to defeat me, but you're not going to be able to do it. It's foolproof. Do you understand? And the ways that you try to rationalize things are not effective. You will never be able to stand up to my wisdom. Okay, so the paper about shamanistic rites, I've been at this for a while. I know exactly what I'm doing all the time. And I'll talk to you a little bit about the police here. So I got in trouble with some marijuana, right? And they tried to say that I was tampering with evidence because I threw it out the window, right? And so they tried to charge me with a felony, which is crap. They tried to get me to narc on somebody. For those who know, they know who they tried to get me to narc on. Irony, right? But anyway, what can I say? I'm a loyal friend. And plus, I don't believe on narking. It's like... Anyway. So, they tried to get me to narc on somebody. They called me and they're like, we just want to know if there's anybody that you know of that we need to talk to. And I was like, look, even if I did know somebody, I wouldn't tell you. And so they got pretty pissed off about that. I was a detective. And they sent me back to my jail cell. And so a month or so went by and I had to go to court. And they ended up reducing it to a misdemeanor, like they should have. But it was just like, it was just one of those tactics that make you hate the police. It's just like, it's despicable. So anyway, so that's the reason why I didn't like the cops then. And like I said, now I don't really like them now because they aren't doing what they need to do as far as really bringing out those people who are persecuted. I haven't done anything wrong, but they're taking the side of the pressure. They're taking the side of the money, and but when it comes to cops, I'm nice to them, and like I said in here, there's good and bad cops. The problem with the people in the police are that the police do some stupid things, but the people do some stupid things too. So And you know, it's all about the violence. You know, and I've told you before, if we would stop fighting wars, there wouldn't be so much domestic violence. That's just the way it is. If people see war all the time, they're going to get that warlike mindset, and they're going to think bombs dropping, they're going to think guns firing, and they're going to go get some guns and start shooting people. In their mind, they're going to be playing out war. It's just like, and of course people want to blame video games, which is totally the wrong way. Even the warlike video game are not to be blamed for the violence. It is actual war, because people are smart enough to separate truth, and they know that if they can see it in reality, if they see it on the news, if they see the government actually going out and killing people like that, well, it must be okay. Because people look to the government for an example. So, as far as the drugs, there are certain ways you can go about healing people. Shamanism. You know, organizations like AA and NA, they teach you that you need to give up your willpower. And that's a bunch of crap. What you need to do is strengthen your willpower. Right? And not just about drugs. Anything else you can be addicted to, any mental diseases, so-called mental diseases, anything out there, all right, can all be overcome by cultivating your willpower. Now, the powers of the world, they don't want you to hear this. They don't want you to become strong. They want you to stay weak so they can control you. They don't want you to know about what goes on around the world. All they want you to do is pay attention to the propaganda, so you go and act out what you see on TV instead of knowing the real reasons why. People, our society is insane. And people are going to say this and that about me. They're going to say all this stuff. They're going to try to pick on me as far as my past. They're going to make up this stuff about the now. They're going to try to claim all this stuff about the future. But you know, even if you take the spiritual aspect away from it, I've still got all the answers to make the new world. So it doesn't matter if you look at this through a secular standpoint or a spiritual standpoint or whatever it is, whatever your viewpoint is, I've got it all figured out. And so yeah, the world will remain in lockdown. And I'll tell you this much, if you make me take away the secular government, which I'm pretty sure that that's going to happen, the world is going to stay locked down forever. But I'll still have my kingdom. You need to understand the power I have. You need to understand what absolute power means. Yeah, there's people out here who have power. And they can do whatever they want, but hey, that either counts for or against their judgment. That's why they have that power. But ultimately and absolutely, the final word is with me. My word is final. Dreamweaver believers, continue living righteously. Continue living the Dreamweaver way. Peace.